Jason, do you know a little small company called Google?
Let me duck go that.
Oh my God. Okay, so Google is cutting hundreds of jobs.
Oh,
We're
jeez.
going right into it.
Oh my God. What? Why do they keep doing this?
Oh my God. Oh
They're-
yes. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They did do this.
why are all these tech companies still like laying people off? And aren't they like slim enough yet?
No, okay. So we're going to get into that, but let me tell you this. Google is making significant cuts to its recruiting organization.
That makes sense. I mean, Facebook or Meta did like a real drastic cut of like that or part of their organization too.
Yeah, I think the thing I believe I mentioned this before, but I think it's that the companies had overhired previously. And I do think that because of that overhired, now they're tapering back, either using layoffs or sizing down a significant portion of its recruiting process. I mean, it's never a good sign because it is that essentially that the company had failed the employees. I never see it as it's the employee's fault. It's always the employer's fault because they
Yeah.
had overhired. But it makes sense because they thought they would have this much growth, but in the sense they didn't. But
Yeah.
I will say that it is pulling back on hiring over the next few quarters.
When you say few, do you mean like
It's
like
at least
until
three. At least three.
Okay, so not
quarters.
until like into 2025 is just like end of 2024 then.
Yeah, I would assume that they're probably cutting back until end of 2024.
Okay. Interesting, because I mean they're still making the Google complex in San Jose. That's greenlit.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
or the Google community. Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm a
wow.
bit surprised that they're like pulling back while also building this new thing, or maybe that's because they're pulling.
Because they hired too much. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, so I think that this is crazy. Let me mention this too. Google's recruiting vice president mentioned we unfortunately need to make significant reductions to the size of the recruiting organization.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's hard because they are laying off. I mean, layoffs are never good, like I mentioned again.
Do you have a figure for how many? Or
No, it didn't mention how many.
Okay.
But the thing is, in January, Alphabet announced that it was cutting 12,000 jobs.
12,000.
Roughly 6%. This was in January that they did this. So they
Huh.
had already done the cuts. So this is
Wait.
like
This is in addition to those
it-
cuts.
yeah, this is in addition to it. I don't think it's as large, but they are still cutting some of these jobs out. But
Wow.
the last thing I want to say about this is that they mentioned that they will continue to invest in top engineering.
I can see that. I mean, how would I put this? So I think Google is a very like innovative company. They focus. I mean, that's the whole like point is that they are like at the cutting edge of like the search engine and other different features that they offer. But I do think that they have a very large hiring thing. Like, and if they are going to be pulling back, like a lot of these companies are showing that you can like run leaner.
Yes.
And I mean, if you have think about it this way, if they have a vice president of recruiting, that means the organization underneath him is large enough to warrant
that
a
is
VP
true.
of recruiting. And VPs are like, like
They oversee a
a
good amount,
lot of people. It's not the recruiting directorate, I guess would be the correct term, or like the segment must be very large.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that this means that there is a lot of recruiting overhead in that area.
Yeah.
And I mean, Google is one of the best paying like companies in the area. I mean, tech companies are known for their lavish, like salaries, et cetera. And I think a lot of the day in the lives that were happening prior for the longest time in like 2020 to 2021, 2022, a lot of them are like, recruiters, I think.
Yeah.
It's
So
like my day in my life. And it's like, oh, I wake up, have an omelet.
I want to ask you this, by the way. What did you think about the last phrase that I mentioned? That they mentioned that they will continue to invest in top engineering. Why would they say something like that? What's your idea or your
So
thoughts?
I think it's that they don't want this layoff to be painted as like, oh, we're not going to continue hiring like the actual talent, so to speak. Because like right now they're getting rid of, or I mean like it disclaimer, it's really sad that they're losing jobs. I would not want to be in their position at this point. Like, let me be clear that I do not wish upon anybody that they like lose a job or like means of paying for stuff.
Yeah.
But the way that it's said is that they're painting it that they're going to continue to invest in top talent that will push their mission forward, and that mission is heavily driven by like engineers, data scientists, compute software engineers, etc. They're a data company. Like, if they lost, like they could probably get by with like less recruiters.
Yeah. So the thing that, so I agree. I agree with what you said. The thing that I also interpreted from this as well is that there's going to be less engineering roles and
really
because there's going to be less recruiters.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
But the reason why you have a lot of recruiters is because there's a lot of job openings. But because there's less job openings, there's going to be more competition for the roles that those recruiters that are still left are going to manage.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be their workload increasing.
That's true.
I just think it's just going to be that way.
That's true. That's actually crazy, though.
So the other thing is that in other organizations, we've seen that there were a lot of managerial roles and different levels of management in these directorates. So one thing that could be considered is whether or not the cuts in this director, the recruiting director, were towards the lower level, or like, I mean, probably there were a lot of lower level, but like how much of the middle management and top management was cut out.
Yeah.
Because then if you think about like how much, because like if you need the recruiters, but like the amount of recruiters that are doing, or sourcers or headhunters or whatever you're going to call them, that you need to get the job done is, like maybe a certain amount, but you don't need, how much overhead in terms of management of those people that are doing the actual job do you need? How many levels of, like, because there's probably like, you have your supervisor, the lead, potentially supervisor, manager, like, like it goes up and up and up and up all the way to VP.
Yeah, it's a lot. And the thing that I want to say is that if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We usually put out videos daily, and we have a library of over 100 videos.
Yeah, and we try to, keep track of all these different things happening. A lot of tech news, a lot of different, like, business related, but also we have a lot of different content if you want to check that out as well.
Yes, it's just very, like, the thing is that I know that we've had layoffs, a lot of tech layoffs here in the Bay Area. So it's like, it's just surprising that they're still continuing. Yeah,
I think this is a continued slimming down of these tech companies.
It's gonna be like Elon Musk. He's gonna run a skeleton crew.
I mean,
run Twitter with a rubber band and a paperclip.
Twitter is literally Twitter has both survived and then transformed into X. So I mean, it's still here. It's still potentially making and or losing money.